I call the pending question.
Question is, shall the pending question be ordered? All in favor of the motion will record their vote aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote? Have all the senators voted? Do any senators desire to change their vote? The clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 8, noes 31.
Ayes 8, noes 31. The pending question is not ordered and debate may continue. For what purpose, the senator from Russell, Senator Chafin, rise?
Mr. President, I rise to speak in favor of the substitute before you.
Senator has the floor.
You know, ever since I came to the General Assembly, first in the House, then in the Senate, we've wrestled with Medicaid expansion, and we've debated it, and for me, I came to the conclusion, for me in my district, that no just wasn't the answer any longer, that doing nothing about the medical conditions, the state of health care in my district just wasn't the answer any longer. So I support the enhanced federal match, and I see a lot of things that this budget, this substitute does and will do for my district and do for your districts. And I just jotted a little list down here, but you know, we get raises for our hardworking state employees. We're able to deliver those, and we're able to deliver them on time. Okay, we have raises for our state-supported county employees, the school teachers, K through 12 school teachers. Our school systems have additional funding. Our other county employees, such as our sheriff's deputies, I've fought for our teachers and our sheriff's deputies, and I believe in those people. They educate our children. They keep our homes safe. They are a vital function in our society. And our sheriff's deputies their funding is at such a critically low place that it was absolutely important that those sheriff's deputies receive additional funding, that their beginning wages be increased, that we begin to look at the process of bringing them up with some degree of parity with our Virginia State Police, who are also deserving, but who we've already taken care of and provided for in previous budgets. Our social services workers, our Department of Social Services, you know, those people go out in the rain, in the snow, in the hail, and literally into hell to deal with situations that the rest of us don't want to deal with on a day-to-day basis, and they do it without fear, and they do it right on time. But they never get a raise. And this budget gives them a raise. You know, this budget provides for these transportation issues for our sheriff's departments, which has been a real boondoggle for our sheriff's agencies that are out in the county, out in the rural counties, and they have to travel all the way to Petersburg, or they have to travel all the way to somewhere 4 hours, 5 hours away in the middle of the night and then drive back. And some guy or some gal is making that trip, and they're having to do that on behalf of the sheriff's office, and they may or may not be getting paid to do that. But this provides funding, additional funding for that. This budget provides funding for drug courts. Drug courts are important to me. I'm a lawyer. I see that they work. I think that we need to fund them. I think that we need to put more money into drug courts, and I'm going to push for that. I've pushed for it in the past, and I'll continue to push for it, because drug courts is one of the answers to our opioid problem and the problems that our young people have. We have additional monies here for mental health mental health facilities. And that's absolutely wonderful to be able to deliver those additional fundings right now through this budget. And so, when I look at it, I look at my district, and I have 8 hospitals there, 8 private hospitals, okay? And some of them, we've been in fear that we would pick up the paper, I would get a phone call, and those hospitals would be closing. They would be on the verge of closing. And so, that's not an answer for me. Having my hospitals close when you live out in a rural setting where minutes take away from the chance of life or a good outcome. It's just absolutely not an answer. So, yes, increasing the amounts of monies that those hospitals may have, those critical care hospitals may have access to, is an answer to providing rural health care in Southwest Virginia and throughout rural Virginia. And when I look at those hospitals and I see the kinds of monies that this budget will deliver into these communities, tens of millions of dollars in spending in those hospitals to take care of the sometimes below par health conditions that lots of our rural communities have, I think that it's absolutely imperative that we as a body look at this budget and look at this budget favorably. I heard about the senator from Hanover, who I greatly respect, brought up that the state-funded hospitals do not have access to these new funds. But let me tell you what they do have. We love those hospitals in Virginia because they get 100%. Right now, they get 100% of return on what they get on the Medicaid that's out there right now. What their reimbursement rate is 100%, not 72 cents, not 60-some cents, not 75 cents. It's 100 cents on the dollar. So they're in pretty good shape. And I do love those hospitals. I'm grateful that we have that type of care available on a regional basis for those that need it. And finally, I hear these arguments back and forth today and about how that we have rising health costs, and we have rising health costs. And I hear the arguments that we have rising insurance costs, and we have rising insurance costs. And I think about my friend who owns a grocery chain, a rather large grocery chain, and I think about that if somehow government went to him and said, you know what, you're going to have to let your food go to a certain group of people for about 30 take off 30 cents, or to the point, take off 30 cents. You're only going to get 70 cents on the dollar for your food to a certain group of people, or you're going to have to give away 30% of your food. And I think, well, what would be the outcome in that situation? And I'm almost certain every molecule in my body, every piece of common sense that I have tells me that my friend's really smart. He's going to raise his grocery bill. And he's going to raise those prices, and there's going to be a day of reckoning when Ben Chafin goes to that grocery store and his favorite foods are going to cost more, okay? Just like we're seeing right now with the situation that we have with the health care that we have. So I debated this measure in my mind for a great many months, and I appreciate the debate that I've heard here on the floor. I appreciate all of the senators' comments that I've heard. Mr. President, I think that we've had a good debate on the substitute right now, and I hope that it will be the pleasure of the members of this body to pass it.